welcome to episode 93 of Anime and Us. I'm TJ.
And I'm Shawn.
And this is a review show that reviews anime from A to Z, sort of.
Alright guys, last episode we got Category B for Black Bullet.
Why'd you look at me as if I was supposed to say something?
I don't know. The series began publication in 2011. It became a show in 2013. I wasn't really reading it all that well, but anyway, it's not good to watch it.
I told you to read the wiki beforehand, and you said, no, I got this.
Yeah, it's usually structured differently. It's really weird. They threw it all in there. Anyway, it was a light novel, and they made it to an anime in 2013. And it was simulcast outside of Japan on Crunchyroll, so it's coming out in Japan and on Crunchyroll for the world at the same time, which is pretty normal nowadays. I think it's been happening for probably 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
For most anime. Not all. Some studios won't do it.
But this was before that, right?
That's a good question. Yeah, 2013. But, it's common now. I don't know if it was common in 2013.
So it was just occasionally?
Yeah, well, I think just small studios were doing it, as far as I remember.
Oh, so it wasn't like popular stuff? It was
No,
just...
like you couldn't get a lot of the big stuff in big studios you couldn't get because they just didn't have licensing.
Okay, so it was just smaller studios.
But now it's all there. Like Dragon Ball Super is on there. One Piece is on there.
So it makes sense something like this would be able to do
a little
that.
smaller.
I gotcha. You would think it'd be the opposite. The big stuff would be simulcast for
Apparently
American.
they're still writing the light novel series, 2011 to present.
Well, it did end on a cliffhanger.
Yeah, well, I mean, I wasn't surprised that there's more to it. Just surprised that it's still going, considering how mediocre it is.
I don't even know if mediocre is the right word.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Maybe
it's not.
Maybe mediocre by Japanese standards. Yeah. How about that?
Yeah, that's fair. Anyway, premise, Black Bullet. There's this world where alien virus...
Stole my gimmick, I say premise.
Alright, so premise, you go. We're doing this reverse
No,
now.
I don't know what the premise is. Go ahead.
Some sort of... Is it an alien virus or is it just a virus? I can't remember if it was alien or not.
It wasn't a virus. It was alien... I don't even think it was aliens.
Well, it is some kind of virus because it infects you.
No.
And if you get over 50% infection rate, you turn into one.
Well, it's more like zombie rules.
Yeah. But is it alien or not? It's kind of what I'm getting at.
Yeah, I don't know if they're aliens.
I can't remember.
Because I don't remember them crashing. It kind of just said they appeared.
It might have been specific in the first episode, and we just don't remember.
Well, that was a little...
Anyway, there's some sort of virus.
It doesn't matter.
That if it infects you, which is sort of similar like a zombie if it bites you or something like that.
It's giant monsters, which automatically loses a point.
Yes, if you're a regular human, you immediately turn into one.
Right.
But if you were, and they gloss over this quickly, if you were a pregnant woman that got infected through the saliva in your mouth, the baby would be like part infected, part human, and they could like get the powers of being fast and strong and stuff. I
was under the impression that they... What's the word I'm looking for?
They did it to a bunch of...
They did it
yes,
to
yes. That is definitely what happened, but I think they figured it out from like one happening accidentally.
Okay, because you made it sound like that it was an accident.
I thought that's what it was at first, but then they're fucking everywhere. And then they also reference like, we did this.
Right, yeah. So, I mean, they definitely pushed this on upon a bunch of women.
Yeah, which is really f***ed up.
It's not even the most f***ed up thing that happens in the show.
But, anyway, so we'll get to the f***ed up stuff. So the premise is, we're now at present day, after Armageddon, essentially, where these giant monster things...
In the far future year of 2021.
Yeah. 10 years after the Great War.
Yeah.
Of fighting these things. A lot of people died, and cities are closed off by having giant metal... sections of wall.
Don't you remember when Obama went to war in 2011?
Anyway. And, like, even though there's gaps in the wall, like giant gaps in the wall, the metal keeps the virus at bay.
It's like magnetism or something like that.
They don't want to get near it.
No. The magnetism keeps it away.
But sometimes little ones sneak in, like really tiny ones, and they'll kill someone, and then that person gets infected and turns into a bigger one.
It's like they're like the smallest things are like ants the size of a person.
Yeah.
Because they're all, like, insects, like spiders, or the main bad one in this is a giant snail kind of thing.
They're mostly insects and arachnids, but not all of them.
No, there's different ones. There was, like, a dinosaur at one point, wasn't there?
Well, let's say a human gets infected, and then there's a little one. Well, there's a CivSec team. They don't ever say it unabbreviated. They always say CivSec. And they like that word a lot.
Yeah,
they like saying CivSec all the time.
Which is just a civilian sector.
Oh, God, it's terrible. Well, there is a teenage boy, usually, paired with a 10-year-old girl. and the girl is the baby that grew up to be 10
because she has powers. Yeah,
because she's got powers, and they go and they fight it.
It's not normally.
They investigate it. They usually kill whatever's
It's not normally a teenage boy. The teenage boy.
Most of them I would say adults, but a lot of them are younger.
Yeah, they're younger, but only the main character is really a teenager.
Yeah.
So, but mostly it's adult men with 10-year-old girls.
Which is weird. What's weird is the way they do it. The way they show it and everything around it. But like just abstract, it's not that bad if you just say that idea without knowing anything else about the anime. But it's terrible. It's god awful. The lolliness in this.
The lolliness is strong in it, and they make... So here's the thing about Japanese culture. I don't think we've ever discussed this on show before. They portray lollies a lot in anime.
And what's a lolly? Well, a lolly is a child.
Yeah.
Sexualized.
Exactly. But what they do in these things, it's not like they portray it as, teenage boys or adult men lusting after these.
It's always the 10-year-old girl lusting after them, and the guy's like, oh, I'm oblivious, or oh, what are you doing? Stop it.
Right. Which I guess is their justification to not make it wrong. But it's bullshit, because...
that would never happen, except for the extreme rare case of them being molested.
Right.
On end, and that's the only way they know how to show emotion.
A normal 10-year-old girl is not thinking about that. Maybe marriage and stuff like that.
Maybe thinking, oh, I want to marry this guy.
Fantasy, but they're not sexualizing anything.
It's hyper-sexualized in this. There's a lot of skin on 10-year-old anime girls.
There might be a rare case where a 10-year-old girl goes through puberty early that might be thinking that way, but it's super, super rare. It's not common.
All of them.
And it's disgusting.
And it's in a lot of anime, and specifically this one, a lot of girls.
And at least in the other anime, it's usually like one character.
Yes.
Oh my god.
But it's not the center of attention.
Oh my god, it's so bad in this one.
It's so many characters.
It's so bad. This world is populated with lollies, and it's terrible. I can't believe how many. The main character has a harem of them, and they make a joke of it at one point. Like the mad scientist girls is that he's trying to create a harem of 10-year-old girls, and they joke about it, but it's almost true. It's ridiculous.
So
it is gross. And that's not even the worst part of it. The things they do to these 10-year-old girls in this show is horrifying.
Yeah.
It's not only that they're sexualized, it's that they're beaten, they're murdered, they're tortured.
The one girl had her mom poured lead into her eyes.
Yeah, because...
You don't see it. You don't see it happening. You don't see her eye sockets. She has a bandage around them, but she still says that happened.
Yeah, she says it's happened because their eyes glow red and it shows their powers, and their mother couldn't stand it because these 10-year-old girls have the...
part of the infection in them. Part of the monsters that killed everybody.
Yeah, so they're blaming these 10-year-old girls for this, and it's
also they're the ones that are protecting everyone now. Right. Whenever something happens, they go and fight it.
And sure, I get the hatred for the other and things that they're trying to do here, but this is unrealistic, and
the controversy about it is so unbelievably forced
and unrealistic because I don't even think. As monstrous as people can be, that if there was that many 10-year-old girls, people would turn against them like that.
Some, sure.
Maybe.
Like Westboro Baptist Church type people. But that many? Nah.
Not a whole cities.
Yeah.
Nah. It's ridiculous.
Not where if you walk down the street and you see a guy beating up on a 10-year-old girl, kicking the shit out of her, you're going to walk by and not do anything.
Yeah.
Not like that.
I mean, there was at one point in the first episode where these couple of guys are picking on this 10-year-old girl, and the cops take her away and arrest her, take her to an abandoned warehouse, and shoot her in the head.
Shoot her in the gut, then the head, and I think shot her a third time. Somehow she lived.
Yeah, but of course and we were like,
and she's irrelevant to the show. The scene was just there to shock you.
Yeah, and it was like, and we were like, so they're not actually going to kill anybody. But then 10 episodes later, they blow up a whole classroom full of these girls. It's like, what are you doing?
The show is, and this is something that's common with bad storytelling, especially anime, is they introduce something for an episode or 2 or 3 or 4, and then they kill them really quickly.
Right.
Well, I don't care about any of those people. Sure, it's little girls, and that's, that sucks, but I don't know any of those girls. I don't know any of their names.
No.
And now they're all dead. Well, it's like this forced drama. They're making me think the character's getting emotional and delusional maybe, and But is it really?
But it's worse than that, because not only do you not care about the characters, they're trying to shock you into it instead of trying to build up an emotional beat. Like, at least the bad writing, they try to build it up in some point throughout an episode.
And sometimes it can work. Like, it worked with that little girl with the cops in the beginning. Yeah. We were like, oh, what the f***? Right. But you keep doing that over and over again, it loses its meaning. I don't care anymore.
Right. Well, not only that, it's just like, now you're just being mean for being mean sake. Yeah.
You're killing children in art just because you can.
But yeah, it's like, there's no purpose to it. There's no reason. And here's another thing. You could have aged these girls up, like we said off screen.
You could have made them 15.
15 to 16.
It was fun.
Had the same effect.
Still sexualized, still a little weird because I'm 32, but that's not nowhere near as bad.
But it's still, like, at the same time, it's not creepy.
Yeah.
And even if, go even a step further, just go 8 years. Make them 18.
Done. What's the problem?
Right. What's the problem? Make them 18.
It's some weird thing in their culture.
But even so, all that shock value and stuff will still hit.
Yeah.
But it won't feel like it's so bad, And
he could have made a couple of them younger for the death, just not over-sexualized.
And that's an even better point that you brought up. Why was it just that age group? Why wasn't it over a course of years if this is happening? Aren't you doing this to more girls?
Mm-hmm. Why aren't there younger ones?
Yeah.
You only did this once, 1 year?
Exactly. This is so many plot holes, and it's stupid, and it's also pointless.
Why is it only girls? Just for plot reasons?
Yeah.
Why aren't little boys doing it?
Exactly. In fact, I don't think we see a single young boy in this show at all.
You're right. Maybe it killed him, but they didn't explain that.
Yeah. No, they didn't explain.
Even if it did kill him, you're doing it for stupid plot so you can over-sexualize little girls.
Yeah.
There's no reason why you couldn't have done it with little boys either.
No. This is terrible. Terrible. And that's not even the worst of it. The way that the CipSec teams are, like you said, there's an adult and a little girl, but the adults treat them like the little girls like
most of them treat them like trash, yeah.
Like they're items, in fact. Like, there was one point where
Pokemon.
One little girl was saying, "Help me, I'm starving," because he wasn't feeding them. It's like, this is so...
So not even the people that are fighting side by side with them are treating them like people.
Right, it's so... I wish I could remember the word. I'm saying mean, but there's a word for it.
Unnecessary.
But
I know what you're trying to get at.
But it's for no reason at all. It's disturbing in the wrong kind of ways instead of in the right kind of ways. You know?
It's very poor writing.
It is. It's so bad. We didn't even get into the story.
And the dialogue at times is god-awful. It's bad overall, but it's god-awful at certain times. And a lot of the time, the voice acting is complete trash. Like, it sounds like a monotone child talking. And I get that they're supposed to be children, so that's kind of fine that they sound like children. But there's no emotion. There's nothing in the voice. It's almost like Siri's talking.
Right.
Really bad.
And even though, like, the bad guys are supposed to be these bugs and stuff like that,
the real enemy was us. We're the real bad people.
Well, there's that too. But, like, 5 episodes in, the main character, this teenage boy, is fighting a 10-year-old girl who's a sniper.
Mm-hmm.
And and it's not like a held back fight. He's kicking the shit out of her. It's stupid, and it makes no sense. And then there's a president, and he has to bodyguard her. And then there's this...
And he's almost never in the show, even though he has a direct connection to the main character. He's there for, like, an episode or two, and then he's gone.
Who? Oh, no, I'm talking about the girl president.
Oh, sorry. Her bodyguard.
Yeah, he was her bodyguard, and she has this royal guard leader in her who's comically evil for no reason at all.
You know what? I just remembered this. This show is written like a 14-year-old wrote it that just learned how to curse. They curse unnecessary, and I love to curse.
Yeah.
They curse all the time unnecessarily, like, you asshole, all the time.
I wanted to bring that up, too, and I'm glad you brought it, because I forgot about it, but
so bad.
Because there's so many other problems, but yeah, the cursing is...
Once in a while, it makes sense. Most of the time, which is like 99% of the words that come out of these characters' mouths, it's terrible.
But it's like this. It's like I'm having a conversation like this, and okay, how you doing? F*** you, out of nowhere. It's like...
A lot of them are like that, yeah. They just add a f*** you or this or that in there for no... It doesn't fit. And then other times they get really in it, like, oh, f*** you, and then it's over.
Or, there was one, he was talking to the main antagonist with the mask, And he's like, I'm going to cut off your head and then shit down your throat.
Yeah.
I'm like...
Like, it just didn't fit.
No, it doesn't work.
It doesn't fit for that character. It doesn't fit in that conversation.
I mean, if you listen to the show, I bleep out Shawn's curses all the time. So we're not against...
this episode.
We're not cursing. Yes, I do. I'll bleep it out. It's just easier for me to get rid of the explicit tag.
Jesus. Okay. Yeah, the cursing's terrible. It's done very poorly.
Everything's done poorly in this show. It's
the art's about it. It looks nice.
It does look nice. Yeah. I mean, the opening is very... No, was it the opening or the ending? It's very artistic.
The ending's very artistic.
It's very artistic, and it's actually pretty well done, considering. But it still doesn't save anything.
It doesn't save anything.
No.
Not 1%.
I mean, I guess we should explain what the story is.
I mean, they're just... For the first 8 episodes, it's a couple random things that are happening with a little bits of overarching story. Like, there's this guy that shows up with a mask who's sort of in a magician's outfit. With a little girl that has swords, and he likes to say, "My boy," a lot. Yeah. It's fucking terrible.
He's apparently a soldier or something.
Ex-soldier. But so is our main character.
Yeah, which doesn't make sense, because he's like 16.
Yeah, the age doesn't fit at all. He's 16 at most. 10 years ago was the end of the war.
Right. And he's working for us, because CivSec is a bunch of agencies, and he's working for a girl who's his age, who is apparently like the president's daughter, or president's assistant's daughter.
Yeah, from this martial art family, and he was a orphan in that family, or adopted into that family, or whatever, so he knows their martial arts, and whenever he does one of his punching or kicks, is Kendo martial art punch!
Yeah.
So dumb.
So there's anytime martial arts stuff, they do that. That's stupid. Anytime they do a special move, they do a shonen thing.
And his right leg and arm and left eye were replaced because during the war he lost them.
Yeah.
So he's got ties to this Tony Stark type woman character.
Yeah.
Who creates tech.
So from what have we seen? We only seen the leaders of 2 CivSecs, and they're both run by teenage girls. So which also doesn't make any sense
at all.
So none of it makes sense. They try their best at world building. Like, they tell you about the different cities, and
this goes back into how, like, there's always a seed of a good idea. Like, I could see this being well if you gave it to a competent writer.
Sure. Age up the girls and stuff like that. And
a competent writer would do that.
Right. Well, it's Japan. But anyway.
It's a seed of a good idea. Like, there's some of the world building is good. The idea of that part infected fighting to save humanity, even though they're kind of alien, whatever. That's fine.
Right. I mean, and the cities are separate. The world's separated by cities now because everything in between are these monsters. So
first off, how the do you feed people? You need farmers.
Well, they do have like land. It's not like
not enough. But it's you could be farming it, but it's not enough to feed everyone in the city.
Right, but they also said they still have airplanes and stuff too. So
they said this at one point. So like they knew a big Gastrea, that's what they're called.
Gastrea, the monsters. Yes, okay.
A big one was coming, and it was going to wreck everything and kill everybody. And it was an offhand comment, but they said, "Why don't people get into shelters? Why don't people fly to another city or whatever?" And one of the characters said, "That's what all the rich people did. They maxed out their credit cards." But if they were rich, they wouldn't have to max out the credit cards. That doesn't make any sense. I mean, it's a stupid little one-off thing, but that doesn't make sense.
Well, there's also built shelters, but only a certain percentage gets in, which through
a lottery.
Through a lottery, so only 30% of the population can get in. Because
build more fucking shelters. If you build giant walls, build a fucking shelter.
Exactly. Well, see, that's the thing. One of the walls is coming down.
Yeah, towards the end.
So, which is going to let all the monsters come and run over the city. But they don't have enough shelters? You're right. It's like, there's a whole, half the city is destroyed and infested with these 10-year-old little girls. You had plenty of room, go build a fucking shelter!
It doesn't make any sense. None of this really makes sense.
And apparently they can build these walls in, like, a couple hours. They've said that.
So the wall goes down on day 3 or 4, and it's going to take 2 days to put the wall up.
Yeah.
What? It's a giant wall, like a skyscraper.
Yeah, but apparently they got it down to a science, and they could do it. And
they just got choppers coming over giant bricks of metal, which would not be able to carry that.
But it doesn't matter. If they can do that, they can build shelters. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And none of it makes sense. It's a bunch of plot holes, bullshit.
Filled with them.
And that's the minor. These are the minor issues we're complaining about.
I don't know what else to say. It's just bad. Don't watch it.
I think it's a little worse than bad, honestly. I think this is on par with Koikaze. I mean,
I don't know. He didn't sleep. He didn't want to sleep with them, so it's not that bad. You know what I mean? I guess it's still pretty bad because the little girls, want to sleep with him. But I don't feel like it's quite that bad because he's not being predatory. Still f***ing got awful though.
Yeah, but you just know the way that they're being treated that some of those guys are being
it's happening in the background. It has to be.
Yeah, there's no way it's not. So, I mean, I don't know. It's...
Go watch it. Oh, it's tight.
No, it's...
Score?
It's bad. Let me put it this way. It's bad in the Koikaze way, but it's not bad in Restaurant from Another World kind of way. You know what I'm saying? It's a different kind of bad.
Yeah, it's its own bad.
We got two categories of worse animes. So, and if we're starting to make tiers here.
We stopped with comparing these to 801 TTS.
Yeah, we did. Because that's not, you're looking back on that.
That's our 1000th episode, by the way, rewatching that.
Excuse me. Just thinking back on that, it was stupid. But it was our first review. You probably didn't watch anything you didn't have to watch.
Yeah, I've only seen pretty good anime. Whenever something's bad, I just stop watching it.
And I was very inexperienced with anime. But now... And
you're like, oh god, this is what I'm in for.
Yeah. And so... But now we're 93 animes in. Mm-hmm. It's almost 100 fucking animes. So we're like experts on it now.
Yeah.
And that one... you're right. We might have to revisit that one day, and
just for reference. You know what I mean?
Right.
So we can actually put it in perspective. That's the word.
Put it in perspective and re-rate it properly.
Yes,
for what it is.
That might be a good idea
because I think now that first review is unfair to it compared to what we've seen.
But back to this Black Bullet. Great name, by the way.
You think that, but I keep thinking it's called Black Bible.
Bible Black anti.
No, Black Bible.
Oh god! But see, Black Bullet keeps making me remember Darker Than Black, which was decent.
That's true too. But I keep thinking I could not remember the name of this like 7 times.
I remembered it pretty easy.
I couldn't remember it, and I also had another problem. This is going off on a tangent, but like I was going through old episodes for some reason. I needed some information, and that's why we found out that you had a pick, right? But I was like, what was Z? I could not remember for the life of me what we watched with Z. I went through the entire list of Z, and I could not figure out what it was. I was like, what the hell did we watch? And it was that Zion, I Wish You Were Here.
Oh, okay.
Which was that alien one I was talking about last week that I could not remember the name of.
Well, there you go.
So, it's funny. I couldn't figure out what it was, and yet I remembered what it was. I just couldn't piece the two together. I don't know why I went off on that tangent. I don't even remember what my point was.
Yeah, I do that a lot. I get lost in it. Let's give it a score, though. So I'm going to rate it 3.
No, I don't think I can.
Too high?
I think it's too high.
Oh, wow. It's pretty to watch, like, art-wise. You can put it up and watch it in the background, but its faults, which are many, are glaring.
You can't watch it in the background, though, because the dialogue's so bad.
Dialogue's bad.
So, it's... Once you hear F*** you, you're like, what? What? What's going on?
F*** you.
Yeah. It's like, it would stop you from doing...
rip open your head and shit down your throat.
It's going to stop you from doing whatever it is you're doing. It's like, why is this on my background right now?
I think you talked me into it too. What else do we have? Your score?
I want to give it a 1, but I can't in good conscience give it a 1.
There's worse.
There's worse. But yeah, I think it's a 2.
Yeah, that's fair.
But I want to give it a 1.
It's bad. Don't watch it. What else did we have for B?
B is interesting because we have different categories at different tiers of anime. So we had Blue Gender. Okay. Which was...
I'd say average, slightly above average, maybe.
I think we ended up giving up a 7, even though I ended up hating it. I didn't like it, but I judged it. No, I judged it objectively.
For its time, too.
Yeah, and, I just hate giant monsters and giant mechs and stuff, so it was Blue Gender. Then there was Bottle Fairy.
Oh, Christ. I remember there being a lot of episodes of that. Was there?
No, there was like 12, and I think
they were small, though. They were like
there was 10 minutes or something like that, and it was like one for each day of the month. And then Blade, which was...
I remember that fondly.
Yeah, it was average.
Average?
Yeah, I mean, we said it's... You know what it was? We said it was good for Blade, but it was an average anime.
Yeah.
because it wasn't really an anime much. It was like
a cartoon with anime art, but
right.
still looking like an American cartoon. Really weird.
Yeah, it was, but it wasn't terrible.
I'm gonna rank it Blue Gender. Crap, what are the other ones? Blade, yes. Bottle Fairy this, but Bottle Fairy and this they're just not good.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. I was like, I think I have to give this my third place because Bottle Fairy is just so bad enough for me. But I think
it's 4 really.
But I think you talked me out of it too.
I could rewatch Bottle Fairy more than I could rewatch this. And that's kind of why I rank these things.
I think you talked me into it. I think this is
part of that reason though is because it's so small.
Oh yeah, no. If it had a full 24 or something, even if it had like 12, even if it was at 15, this would do it. But the episode count and the fact they're only 10 minutes long, I think
can get through that.
Yeah, that's nothing. So yeah, you definitely talked me into it.
All right, guys, spinning 4 categories.
So before you spin,
so close.
I just want to point out that you do have a pick, but you're deciding not to use it on C.
Yes,
because you don't.
I went through it and looked through, and like it looks like a lot of average and a couple good things for C. But nothing that is like, I need to watch you right now.
Right, and we're spinning, I guess.
Yeah, we can talk.
He's going to turn on the clap and hold on.
I thought we got Chavez. That's a weird one. That's the one I had clicked on and looked at.
Hold on, it's
Chojiku Sekai August 2.
2, yeah. I think it's a small one, too.
Give us a second.
And Vex at the wheel.
Right? Yeah, probably not. CHO. There we go.
There you go.
The tags are action, adventure, mecha, romance, sci-fi, shonen. Oh, I think there's only 6 episodes.
Yeah, there's only 6.
I thought it was a full anime. I didn't know it was only 6.
No, I knew it was small.
The box art makes it look like it's a 90s, maybe an 80s. I don't know.
Yeah.
Probably 90s.
Right,
I think that's a mech behind him. It's a little boy holding a gun pointing it at you.
Yeah. So do you want to read it?
Sure. Years of political tension and mistrust between the 2 rival nations of Zafran and Revelia escalate to the point of war. Each nation's solution to gain possession of decimators, the same ancient robots of war that nearly ended all life on the planet 200 years before. As the war ensues and the leaders of both nations become reluctant to surrender, only the desperate plan to lean. Plan of lean?
Yeah, desperate plan of lean.
A young cadet, Nataruma, I don't know, a physically gifted young woman, to alter the timeline of events. Time travel. That's a girl that looks like a boy with a bulkhead. To alter the timeline of events 200 years before stands the chance. Yet, this is a very poorly written
so it's
bio.
Divergence Eve.
Oh, God.
Do you remember how that one ended up in a time thing? We still have a season 2 of that, by the way.
I really hope we never get
So, did you want...
Maybe I'll use it for D, my pick, just so we don't have that chance.
Did you want to talk about how we only do the tags and stuff like that?
What do you mean?
What the first things we look for?
Oh yeah, so we talked about this right before the episode aired. It's funny when we spin the wheel. There's a couple things we look for. Obviously, the name, because we have to go look at it. Like, is that a decent name? We're judging it off of these first things. Box art, right? So we click on it. What's the art look like? Is it new? Is it old?
Yeah.
Is it a bunch of girls? And then tags.
Tags.
Does it have any of the good tags? Have any of the bad tags? I mean, these tags aren't good for you, but it's not comedy. It's not ichi.
Yeah, it's not ichi.
So it's not the worst.
And harem are bad, too.
Yes. And then forget the bio. We go straight to episodes.
Yeah.
If it's got 24, we're all like, oh.
So, yeah, when we click on the anime, to the right, it has a list of the episode count. My eyes go right to the right. Say, how many episodes is this going to be? 24? No, thanks. I don't want to do it.
Too late. Gotta do it.
12? Okay, fine. I'm good with that. 6 is even better.
I'm actually sorry about that for the viewers. They shouldn't hear us like, oh, I gotta do this now. That shouldn't be the case, but heck, it is what it is.
But to be fair, we do an anime a week, and 24 episodes is an 8-hour process.
Especially when I'm procrastinating till like Monday night, and we're recording on Thursday.
Yeah, it can be pretty close sometimes. I have to actually, when we get, even with 12 episode ones, I have to designate a number of episodes per day that I'm going to watch, or else I'm not going to do it.
So if it's 12, I usually watch a couple, because my Monday is Friday night, third shift. If it's 12, I'll watch 1 or 2 on Friday and Saturday night. And then I'll just do the rest on Monday or Tuesday. But if it's 24, I don't even know what to do half the time.
Actually, what I do is I take the amount of days I have off, right? And then I divide that by the number of episodes. And then I have,
I got 6 this day.
Yeah, that's how I do it, because I just can't. Otherwise, I need to set myself up a certain thing, or I won't do it. It's especially with something that I don't know about, and especially if it's even bad, I just can't.
Well, all right, you're gonna read it out in the outro because I did it only when we picked it. All right, guys, next episode.
Hold on, before I got one more thing I want to talk about. So, ever since we started this round, there hasn't been an episode under 30 minutes. What do you think that signifies? Are we getting better, or are we getting more
random? I think we're also chatting each other up more. You know, we don't see each other as often now.
That's true, but at the same time, we have a lot more to say about the anime still.
More opinion based.
Yeah, so I'm just wondering if we're being more rambly.
Maybe I'm paying attention more,
or maybe we're just getting better at this.
Could be that. Hopefully, it's better.
Because literally, this is at 33 minutes right now. I'll probably cut it down to 30 because I usually have to cut out like 3 minutes of silence. But I just found that interesting. Okay.
All right.
Now we can do the outro.
Guys, next episode.
Chojiku Seki Orgus 2.
Orgus. It's so weird. All right, guys. See you.
All right. Bye.